Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Rule Book. This is episode 41, and I'm your host, Alex Palmer, live from my couch in Manhattan. It's the Rule Book. Okay, we have a lot of stories to get into. It's been a whole week since my last episode, and I need to start making these episodes daily, Monday through Friday, baby. We're gonna see if I can figure that out. It's a lot of work. Your girl's a one-man show over here. But anyway, we cannot start this episode without talking about the story of the weekend, which was Taylor Swift's concert in Argentina. And you're saying, Alex, okay, so she started her Eras tour in South America. Hold up. You guys know. You've probably seen the viral video of Taylor Swift not only running up to Travis Kelce to go plant a big old smooch on her football boyfriend, but the part where she sings, "Karma is the guy on the Chiefs coming straight home to me." Okay, and that's my favorite part because then we got the real-time reaction of her beau, Travis Kelce. And the part I love about it is obviously, like, I think some people have already changed that lyric prior to her actually singing it live on stage on TikTok and other places. But the fact that she did it just shows Miss Taylor Swift, the lyricist that she is, she's got the riz, honey. She's got that riz. Throw some respect on her name and trust. She's got just as much game as her footballer boyfriend, if not more. Okay? It takes a lot of chutzpah. It takes a lot of balls to get up there on the Eras tour and change her lyric, to which you know all the Swifties are going to eat that up. So, yeah, I think that was hilarious. I know there's been a lot of speculation, like, is this relationship real? Is this a PR move? I think it's real. I think her rebound was that Maddie Healy dude who was, like, so wrong for her. It was hilarious. But, no, I think this relationship is real. I saw a girl on TikTok talking about, well, that was very strategic of Miss Swift. And I do think Taylor is being extremely strategic in this relationship. And why wouldn't she? Homegirl is at the top of her game. She's now officially a billionaire. But not only that, this week she made Grammy history by being the only artist nominated 7 times in the category of Song of the Year. The song in question is Anti-Hero. How ironic, right? But maybe not. I guess the only other person to do that was Lionel Richie. Or they didn't do 7 times. He did 6 times. Lionel Richie, and I can't remember who else, but it was somebody big. But yeah, her Eras tour has been compared to Beatles Mania. I mean, she's just living it up. She's a billionaire now. Her movie was a blockbuster success and hit. She's killing the game. Homegirl is killing the game. So yeah, I'm not surprised that she's being strategic while she has the limelight. If I was her, I would too, right? She doesn't want to fumble the ball. She doesn't want to fumble the bag, literally, because we're all watching. So I don't blame her for being strategic and also playing it up for the fans, because now is the time. Now is the time to do that. Last week, I believe it was last Thursday, Sag-Aftra ended the 118-day strike, which is fabulous news, not just for the actors, but for people in other industries who service, Hollywood and film sets and TV sets, food trucks, food vendors, costume designers, set makers, people who rent furniture, props people, all those industries were affected. So we're all happy that all those people, not just the actors, can now finally get back to work, and after quite a long battle. I don't believe SAG has really released the details of the deal that they came to, but they did say that minimum wage is going to be raised. It's going to be the highest it's ever been. Okay, duh. Let's hope so. There's going to be a lot more AI regulations, stuff like that. So this is all just in time for the holidays. It's almost Thanksgiving, 2 more weeks. And then boom, it's Christmas. Christmas comes at us fast. So this is just a great announcement and a great time for this to be ending, because, girl, how are we going to be holly jolly if we're still on strike? Yeah, so that's exciting. What else happened? Oh, the Republican primary debate happened, and that included Vivek, if I'm butchering names, I apologize, Ramaswamy, Ron DeSantis, Nikki Haley, Chris Christie, and Tim Scott. Tim Scott announced he announced yesterday that he's actually not going to be pursuing the presidency anymore. He dropped out of the Republican primary race due to funding, etc., etc. I said on TikTok, I'm not sad to see him go, but I'm always happy to see a Republican walk away. So goodbye. If only he took the rest of the gang with him, including Trump. But we all know how that one's going to play out. But yeah, the interesting thing about that debate is that Ramaswamy slung an insult at Nikki Haley saying, "Who wants Dick Cheney in 3-inch heels?" But it was also aimed at Ron DeSantis because there's been quite a bit of gossip surrounding his cowboy boots and whether or not he wears lifts in them. And Nikki Haley quipped back, "Excuse me, these are 5-inch heels." Which I thought was pretty funny. And then she said something to the effect of, "I don't wear them unless I can run in them," which is like, okay, you're showing your generation just a little bit too much. You could have ended it with, "These are 5-inch heels." Okay. But yeah, I read an article in the New York Times. Ron DeSantis didn't even bother to respond, okay, because we all know Ron is literally shaking in his boots about that whole lift accusation. But the thing is, I was reading a article in the New York Times and they were discussing this, and I also read an article in the Atlantic which was discussing this too, dissecting it and saying, like, American politics has become so unserious that we're literally discussing shoes at a primary debate, which, yeah, it's kind of ridiculous. And then the New York Times dropped an article today talking about the sexism and the machoism that Ramaswamy's remark was showing, and he was kind of like mini trumping it on that stage, because Donald Trump is known for creating these nicknames for his opponents and really going for their throat. So Ramaswamy was really sort of conjuring up the dawn when he was doing those sexist ass remarks, and they were really pointing out how Nikki Haley handled it very well by sort of brushing it off but like making a joke out of it. She didn't get all offended and all quiet like Ron DeSantis did. No, she was like, "They're 5 inches if you really want to know." And basically, I use my heels to run. I use my heels to kick to kick who I need to kick out of my way, right? So she's doing a really smart thing, because the article also pointed out that so often these debates are just the best moments for the public to really get to know these candidates on a more personal level, just based on how they handle themselves and how they respond to comments like this one. Because so often Americans don't exactly know, most people don't exactly know what each candidate's stance is on each issue, or why exactly they were going to pick someone over another person, especially when they're not staying that up to date with all of the issues and all of the things that are going to be on the ballot box. So personality goes a really long way. And the fact that she didn't get all offended and she didn't clam up, but she really kind of gave it right back to him. But she didn't, not that she gave it right back to him because she didn't insult him back, but she kind of just stood up for herself in a funny, humorous way that really probably works out well in her favor. And the New York Times is alluding to the fact that perhaps that's why Donald Trump is afraid to actually attend any one of these debates, though we all know that's not true. I was reading comments and someone was like, "Trump's not going to attend because he's going to get full on attacked and he's going to spend the entire time basically explaining all of his legal battles on stage," which I don't know if that would happen, because they all seem to still pander to him and his bullshit, because they know that so many of the Republican voters are Trumpers that they're all kind of treading pretty lightly when it comes to attacking Donald Trump. Except for Chris Christie. So who knows what's going to happen there? Do I like Nikki Haley? No, I don't like any of the Republicans, but I guess she showed another side of herself that I could appreciate. So good for Nikki Haley. Who knows? I think she's in a better place than Ron DeSantis. Obviously, she's not in a better place than Trump, but we shall see. So, all right, so let's be done with politics right now. I can't keep talking about it. I was worrying that on my TikTok after all the videos that I was making about Donald Trump and about Republicans, I was like, oh my God, people are gonna think that I'm a Republican. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but I was like, oh, I don't want to cause confusion here, and I don't want to be labeled as something that I'm not. Although I'm sure that freaking happens all the time on social media, so whatever. Okay, let's get into the next story, which is Robert De Niro's former assistant, was awarded $1.26 million in her lawsuit against the actor's production company, Canal Productions. But she sued them for gender discrimination and some shit about sexist retaliation. The whole thing happened in 2019 when she stopped working for De Niro, and then when she did stop working for him, she refused to sign like an NDA. So that's why she was alleging retaliation, because he basically came after her. He countersued her for like stealing his miles. I don't know. The whole thing seems pretty ridiculous. But she won this week, and she in the lawsuit, she accused him of she was his executive assistant for many years, and then she moved up the ladder and did other things for him. She accused him of giving her gendered duties, domestic labor. She was responsible for washing his sheets sometimes. She was exposed to vulgar comments, apparently, and also she had to scratch his back. Some of this is very fucking weird. My dog is named De Niro. So now I'm kind of like, I'm conflicted. This lawsuit. Not that I'm surprised that Robert De Niro seems like a real prick and a shitty boss. I'm not surprised at all by that news. Love him as an actor. Clearly he's got some issues, but yeah, this was really, well, I'm happy for the assistant, as someone who was an assistant before. Girl, that is a bad job. Let me just tell you right now, it is not the job you want to have, especially if you're someone who wants to work in entertainment in some capacity or another, and you hope that, working this kind of job will gain you connections and help you to network. No, not really, because usually it pigeonholes you. People only see you as one thing, and then if you're not leaving your company on a good footing, which mostly you're not, okay, because they really put you through the ringer, and I don't think that's unique in just my experience. I think that's in a lot of people's experiences who I've spoken to about this kind of thing. They don't want to help you. After you're done being their assistant, you are kind of dead to them. I did a post on this long time ago on my TikTok, a couple months ago on my TikTok. And someone was like, oh, we'll only ever be an assistant. Like, people are just nasty. They're just haters. And a lot of people are threatened by younger people on the come up. And that's just what it is. Maybe that's the rule this week. So I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say rule number 41. Don't expect people to send the elevator down just because it's the right thing to do. We see so often people don't give a shit about doing the right thing. Honey, be prepared to climb the stairs to success, because that's usually what you have to do unless you're a Nepo baby. And although we all know by now 80% of Hollywood is in fact Nepo babies, we just didn't have Google back when we were growing up and idolizing people. There are some people who are self-made, and it is possible. You just have to fight like hell and be prepared for anything, okay? So, yeah, if Robert De Niro's assistant taught us anything, it's the fact that you mostly don't leave an assistant job unscathed. And although homegirl got $1.26 million, I'm sure she's happy. However, once you do something like that, you sue a former client or employer, that reputation kind of follows you along, right? Like, oh, this girl is difficult. Oh, she's not a team player. Oh, she's gonna be too good for the tasks that I have for her. Blah, 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 blah. There's a million excuses of why these people will come up with not to hire you as an assistant again, especially if you can't get a reference from your old boss. And I highly doubt Robert De Niro will be giving, I think her name was Chase, a reference. Not that she needs it. If she invests well, she'll be fine. But that was a really disheartening story to learn as someone whose dog is named DeNiro. Yes, it's very sad. One of my favorite movies ever is Goodfellas, and I also heard that, oh God, what was his name? Ray Liotta was also a bad person and someone who was not very nice on set to directors and other actors, etc., etc. So, yeah, and things are not looking good for everyone who was in my favorite movie, Goodfellas. But I still have Rocky. Rocky's still also my favorite movie ever. I'll give you a bonus story for this episode. Timothy Chalamet hosted SNL this week, and he was able, because the SAG strike has ended, he was able to promote, I don't know, whatever movie he's going to be in, Dune, Willy Wonka. I don't know. That boy is always working, and he's dating Kylie Jenner. And people were saying Kylie Jenner actually went to SNL. Apparently, there was a photo of her. So, again, another relationship that isn't just PR. It's actually legit. I think it's so funny. Who could actually be in a PR relationship? What a ridiculous thing. But apparently, it's real. But can you imagine what a PR relationship would be like? It's like, hey, let's pretend to go out on a Friday night. I'll meet you at the restaurant. Just make sure we're photographed together. Like, how does that work? Because you have to spend time with the person. So I don't think there's anything fake about it if you're forced to spend time. Maybe you don't feel that spark, but hey, that just sounds like dating to me, doesn't it? Kylie Jenner was in the audience at SNL supporting Timothy Chalamet. I keep wanting to say Shyamalan, which is wrong, but TikTok is always ragging on poor Timothy's last name. Was Timothy Chalamet an Nepo baby? I'm not sure. I don't think so, but he does get way too many roles, and I don't love to see that. I don't love to see one actor bogarting all the brand new roles. That is not my thing. But yeah, I'm going to have to Google that and get back to you guys. What are the stories that some of you guys have been noticing that you want me to talk about? Did you enjoy this episode of the Rulebook? Please let me know. Subscribe to this podcast if you can, or if you aren't already on YouTube, and leave me a comment on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. I'm very tongue-tied today, so please excuse me. But yeah. Okay, guys, I'll see you. I'm going to try and see you tomorrow. Let's meet back here tomorrow, same time. At least this can be our PR podcast relationship. Just kidding. I don't know. Anyways, guys, I'm your host, Alex Palmer. Follow me at Serious Actress across all social media platforms, and I'll see you when I see you. Bye.